my donor chose to be an organ donor, and knowing that I basically carry her with me, I would call it a gift because I feel like it gives me more drive, and I feel the responsibility of really making the most of every opportunity being alive brings because of her. Within 3 months post-transplant, I was in the Lake District climbing the fells. It's happened to me. I've been through this journey and it still blows my mind. Just to wake up in the morning, take a deep breath in and feel that purity and that smooth intake all the way, my lungs fill up. It's my favourite feeling in the world. And still nearly 3 years down the line, every breath, I'm aware that I'm breathing. It's a real joy of living, but it's the quality of life that it brings. Part of my donor's legacy is the fact that she is living on through me. So whatever I do and all of the experiences I get to experience, I feel like she's with me.
I'm in Harefield Hospital waiting for a heart transplant. I've seen a young man of 25 come in. 2 weeks later he got a transplant, and then I kept hearing from my room this young child and this woman, and where he'd had the transplant no one could go near him for a few days, and I realised it was his wife and son. And he eventually was well enough to sit outside with his wife and his son, and you realise that this wasn't just a 25-year-old man's life that had been saved. That child had now got a father, that lady had now got a husband back, and the family unit together, it was just restored. It's just quite incredible the way the human body reacts. And they're sat there with a heart that's probably so strong compared with the one that they've had. Suddenly their body starts healing really quickly. And you see them walking around and you talk to them and they're like, I can walk around and breathe. One guy was out there kicking a football around 2 weeks after he'd had the heart transplant. You can see how happy they are. It's just fantastic. Oh, just so powerful. So powerful.
I've seen really sick patients who have difficulty breathing, difficulty walking, difficulty completing full sentences. They are wheelchair bound. And then after they have their transplant, some people are out of hospital within 2 weeks. Some might take a bit longer, but when you see them in clinic, they're upright, they're walking. To go from barely being able to breathe and focusing on nothing but their breath, to then coming through and being able to tell you about the wonderful travels they've made and the granddaughter they're able to hold and the dog they're able to walk on the beach, it's amazing. I think for donor families, if they could see what their gift has made to somebody else's life, they would realize that it was not in vain.
What we have to remember is the enormity of what has happened. We have a family who have lost a loved one, but we also have to remember on the other side that we have people with hope who are looking for an organ to improve their life. We have their family and friends who are hoping as well that this will, improve their life and effectively, give them time. Having an understanding of the amount of people on the wait list who are waiting for some hope, it really affects you. One trauma in someone's life can effectively save the lives of 6 or 7 people. It's an opportunity of life.
It's so difficult for the family because the person who has been in the register and who passed away and kindly agreed to donate his organ, he is not there anymore with us. It all comes on the family. There is a fine balance. So you are taking the organs out to help someone to have a better life and longer life, to help some other family. We cannot thank them enough because without organ donation, there is no continuation of lives for those people who are waiting for the organs.
When you hear that someone else managed to see their children grow up, they get to go to university, or just feel so much better and they're not breathless or they're not having to travel every day for dialysis, it does bring some comfort. As we move forward in the donation process, we'll often talk to our families and tell them how we're getting along and that recipients have been found. And this leaves us to have some just slightly more hopeful conversations. Their loved one's story hasn't ended that day. It means that they can go on to leave a legacy that they've given the gift of life to other people. You can donate your heart, you can donate your lungs, and those are often donated to people who are terminally unwell with diseases like cystic fibrosis. You can donate your liver, and often your liver can be split, so it goes to 2 recipients, and one of those is often a child. You can donate both your kidneys to 2 different people, and you can donate your pancreas, and that can cure someone of type 1 diabetes. There are other tissues that you can donate, including your heart valves. Something that nearly everyone can donate is their corneas, and that can go on to save the sight of many, many people.
Lots of people around the country may be aware that there's been a new law as regards organ donation. What the new law means is that everyone should be considered as an organ donor. What it does not mean is that organs will be taken without the consent of a family. We would never, ever take organs from somebody if the family disagreed. But that is why it's so important that all of us in our normal life discuss with our families if we would like to be an organ donor. Just about 8 years ago, a really close friend of mine unfortunately died very unexpectedly, and it was terrible for all of us close to him. But perhaps the one thing that helped us all was knowing that he was able to be an organ donor, and that a number of families were not having to go through the really sad time that we were all going through, because their loved one was surviving and getting a better quality of life because of what our friend had done in donating his organs.
The comfort that you might get from knowing that that person has gone on and not only saved but transformed someone's life, but gets to live in that form, it's their legacy, isn't it? It's what greater comfort can you get, really?
Any kind of death is a very painful process to the family, and over that, to have a complexity of someone approaching you for organ donation can actually put more pressure on the family, and that may not be the time to decide when they do not know what your wishes are. But if you beforehand talk to your family, if you tell them this is what I want to donate my organs, then the family will be ready to accept because you've already given them your wishes.